I was in college for I think 5 to 6 months, and unfortunately one day it just ended up me getting kicked out.
Today's guest went from getting kicked out of college at the age of 16 to turning $1,000 into 7 figures and moving to Dubai at the age of 22.
How do you discipline yourself to these things that you're actually doing and taking action?
I was doing the Amazon FBA business. I was also running a coaching business alongside it. It was determination to get out of where I currently was.
He's an entrepreneur who's been successful in multiple fields, from Amazon FBA to coaching and now meme coins.
It will feed into my main business, which is building people communities, because I'll be able to show people what I can actually do. So I thought of the idea. 3 days later, I started it. And then within 2 weeks, we grew to...
What?
Today we speak about all of that, plus building a community, how you can do the same, and how he went from nothing.
I used to run an office for like £300 a month, and I used to sleep there. You could say I was homeless.
To living a life that people dream of.
What would you say your number one thing to think about when it comes to building a community? What should people be doing?
So
Nabil's a gaff.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Jonathan Reed, and we have an amazing guest with us, a friend of mine. His name is Nabil Zagaf, right? This guy is just a whiz. He just knows what he's doing. And now we're in the beautiful Dubai. You can't see from the studio, but you can see that we're in a different setup. We're in the beautiful Dubai, which of course you just moved to. And I thought I'd take it as an opportunity to speak. Because, bro, talk your stuff, bro. Please, no humility, just talk your stuff.
for sure, bro, for sure. So obviously I'm 22, and for what I've achieved, you could say not many people tend to achieve this by 22, let alone the age of like 25, 30, and so on and so forth. But then again, it wasn't an easy journey, and I started a very, very long time ago. I mean, like I started when I was like 17, which for a lot of people, that is a very, very young age. And as you said, I've been through multiple different ventures, multiple different obstacles, and my story will tell it all. Obviously, we'll go through it in this pod. But yeah, like if anyone wants to sort of learn from what I've done, the mistakes I've made, the lessons I've learned, and so on and so forth, this is the video to watch.
Absolutely. And give me some highlights, bro. Give me some highlights from like different parts of your journey.
100%, bro. So when I was 17, the reason why I got into sort of entrepreneurship, in fact, when I was 16, I got kicked out of college.
Okay,
So,
actually, wait, let's not go there yet. Let's not go there yet.
cool.
I'm saying highlights is in like, okay, cool. What are some things that will make people go, wow? So like what things that you've been doing recently, things you did with FBA, things you've done with coaching, like what would, even student results, stuff like that, what would make people go, even your results, what would make people go, wow? Because I like to people to see, okay, this is where I could be, and I like to make it relatable by going into the story. So let's start off with the highlights.
cool. We'll talk about recently. So recently, as you know, I've been in meme coins.
Yes.
And let's just start with the results. So a couple of results. I've gotten a lot of people into meme coins earlier this year. And as you know, like the crypto market's booming. I've had people turn 1,500 into 15K in like 24 hours. I've had people making like 25K on average every single week.
Wow.
Recently had someone, a very good friend of mine. I don't take credit for this. He got introduced to meme coins through me and then started to build himself and start to learn himself. And I think last month he turned 3K into around 300K within 7 days.
3K into 300K within
Yeah.
7 human days.
Yeah.
Are you hearing this? Because I'm hearing this. I'm not sure if you're hearing this. That is wild, bro.
Yeah.
And then did you stumble across this by accident? No, you got something to say.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
in case anyone was wondering what coin it was Peanut. People probably know what
I've
Peanut
heard
is.
about Peanut.
Yeah.
I've heard about Peanut. Like I want to get into a little bit about the logistics about like meme coin and stuff, because personally I actually don't know. That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. But even previous business ventures, like even Amazon FBA, like talk to me about that, like the highlights of that.
For sure. So Amazon FBA, like looking back at it,
Yeah.
it was a lot better while I was in it than
when
looking
you're
back
outside,
at it, right?
yeah.
Just because I've leveled up a lot since then, but it was good in learning the sort of fundamentals of business and the discipline and consistency that comes with running a business, because I would much rather have started in something like Amazon FBA than with meme coins, because meme coins is quick money.
Yes.
Right? I was just telling you, someone made 300K from 3K, which 100%, regardless of what you do, you wouldn't be able to do that with Amazon FBA, dropshipping, Forex, or anything like
7
that.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Amazon FBA, it teaches you discipline, teaches you consistency, teaches you the business lessons you need to know in order for you to then go out there and start different businesses and so on and so forth. So I'm grateful for that. But in terms of the business model itself, it's very slow paced. It's not really fast paced, but I made it work. And if you know my story, you'll know that I started from, my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now.
Come on.
I started from a parent's garage, right? And I was borrowing money off her just to keep stable back then.
Mad.
And we used to work a job together. Quit that job. She used to work there still while I was running the business.
Wow.
What she would make would fund the business, and it was sort of like teamwork. And obviously, for me to repay her back, now she's just a housewife. She doesn't need to do anything for life, innit?
Man, bro. Hey. That's what I like to hear, bro. If you're liking this podcast so far, make sure that you click subscribe and you click like so that you're aware when we do post again, and so that the message spreads out to other people like yourself. Look, we're trying to bless the world. We're trying to help people find their vitamin U. Help them do it too. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Speak soon. Okay, so that's, you kind of like even done a speed run there. Like, I love that. But then let's go to you 16, because you wanted to start at 16 and I want to start at 16 too. What happened at that age, bro?
So I was in college. I was in college for, I think, 5 to 6 months. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I was academically smart, you could say. Like, I was decent. I was average. Like, I wasn't one of those kids that dismissed education and was like, no, I don't want to do this and whatnot. Like, I actually wanted to get an education. I was doing 3 A-levels. And
sorry, what were you taking for A-levels?
Business, media, and psychology.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
If I could go back, you know, those are the 3 that I would have actually chosen.
Is it? Yeah.
I actually would have, bro.
Yeah.
But continue.
And unfortunately, one day, just ended up getting into a fight over a silly situation. It was over a chair.
Over a chair, bro.
Yeah, bro. Over a chair. And obviously, I do jiu-jitsu, so I sort of know how to fight. And it's sort of, I'd say that's probably one of the first fights I've had where it was like purely out of anger. So I couldn't control myself. And then he ended up going to hospital, ended up me getting kicked out.
Wow.
And
so he actually did damage.
Yeah.
Because when people say they had a fight, it's like they're angry and then like, they hit each other. But
it was
then you
a
actually
really
put in
bad
hospital.
fight. Like, it was a really bad fight.
Man.
That's why I got kicked out.
So then you got kicked out for that fight.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
And then applied to different colleges, and obviously as most parents do, especially my parents being African, they just want you to go into education.
And where are your parents from?
Right, Morocco.
Okay. Oh, right. I've got a family in Morocco.
Is it?
Yeah, bro.
Sick, bro. Yeah, so they obviously wanted me to go back into education. I was applying to different colleges, so on and so forth. No college was accepting me for the same A-levels that I wanted to do, let alone any A-levels. The only college that accepted me was a college in Ealing for IT or computer science. And I went to a couple of the lessons and I realized this is nowhere near what I want to do. I don't understand this stuff. And parents, obviously, they don't see it like that. They just see, no, you need to stay in education. You need to go to university. You need to get a job, and so on and so forth. So I was like to my parents, listen, let me apply to some jobs and let me make some money. Let me take the responsibility over my shoulders and see what happens.
And you're what age?
16.
16.
Yeah. Luckily, they trusted me just because I've sort of always been responsible since a young age. So they trusted me. And funny enough, I got a job as a broker because I watched Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow.
And I think that's where the sort of motivation to make money stemmed from, watching Wolf of Wall Street. Have you watched it?
I actually saw Jordan in real life the other day at an actual event, bro.
Yeah, that's
bro,
sick.
He's the same way, bro, as he was depicted in the movie. You know, he actually coached Leonardo DiCaprio to actually sound like him,
That's
sell
insane.
like him, close like him. It was mad interesting.
Oh, that's insane.
So that is what actually inspired you.
Yeah, to start making money.
Okay. And become a broker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Became a broker, started working at a printing brokerage, which was the worst decision I could ever make. But like, I did close some deals. I just didn't end up getting paid out.
Right. And you were 17 or 16?
Still, in fact, I was 17 at this point. Yeah, I was 17. I worked at a donut shop first, then I went to become a broker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's starting to come back to me now.
Yes.
Worked at a donut shop just to make a bit of money here and there. And then went into becoming a broker. Was there for about a month. They didn't pay me out, so I had to leave. And then I went into another brokerage, which was for trading, but turned out they were a scam. I was closing like $100,000 deals and whatnot. Like, I was doing graveyard shifts, calling people in Australia and whatnot. But again, I didn't get paid.
Wow. Did you think that was your ticket? Like, this is the thing at the time?
You know what it was? Yeah. And it sort of, again, it taught me discipline, motivation, consistency. Bro, I'd go into the toilet.
Yeah.
And like, there was days I'd be in the office and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm too tired. Like, I can't be asked. I'd force myself, go to the toilet, listen to Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street doing his motivational speech. And I was like, you know what? This is why I'm here.
Wow.
Honestly, bro. Like, I'd do that like at least twice a week just because I'd always lose motivation towards the end of the week. And what I came to realize was it's not motivation that's going to drive you. It's just discipline. You just have to put in the work.
That's it.
And
sorry, very quickly,
worries,
what I've seen, a consistent theme already is discipline. From jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I don't do martial arts, but I do boxing.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand in boxing, there is an element of discipline that needs to be applied. And it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu as well. And of course, there's that restraint that you would need. And as you said, that's the one time that you got out of control when you had that fight. So I'm seeing that discipline carry through. So how do you discipline yourself to actually apply yourself to these things that you're actually doing and taking action on? As you were saying.
Good question, bro. So as most people say, discipline is a muscle.
Yeah.
Right? It's just training. And the less you train it or the more you ignore it, the worse it gets. The more you focus on it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
You got what I mean? So, and one thing I like to tell people as well is everyone focuses on discipline.
Yeah.
But no one focuses on the resistance side of their brain as well. So everyone has this resistance side of their brain where it's like, that's also a muscle. So you might find yourself, for example, resisting to go to the gym, right? Or resisting to do this thing, resisting to do that thing. And no one actually takes that into account. They just accept it.
Yeah.
You also need to train that part of your brain where it's like, I need to resist certain things.
That's it.
So what I used to do when I was at the gym, I don't know if you know, I went through a crazy weight loss journey.
I did when I looked at that picture earlier.
We'll talk about that anyway.
Yeah.
I'd be on the bike and 10 minutes and I'm like, bro, I can't do this. I can't do this. But that's just resistance. And I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a percentage of what you... There's a study that was done where it's like, you're nowhere near to the amount you can actually do when it comes to doing like workouts and putting in the work and so on and so forth. So I knew that, right? But then again, the resistance side of my brain would tell me, nah, you can't do it, like give up now, so on and so forth. And I'd literally push myself for an hour. And in the first 10 minutes, I was saying I can't do this anymore. But then I'd push to an hour. So it just goes to show, like, when you train that part of your brain, then it becomes easy. You can do an hour back to back every single day.
Bro, and what you were saying just reminded me so much about what's one thing that I love to say. What you don't change, you choose. So if you don't change your situation, if you don't change your behavior, if you don't change your habits, you're choosing to stay the same. And I'm assuming this is a perfect segue into the weight loss journey.
100%.
Like going there, for example, like if you didn't change your, you know, like your eating habits, your gym habits and all that kind of stuff, you're choosing to remain at the same way.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And then how was that in terms of discipline? Because we're on the stream of discipline in terms of losing weight.
That was a crazy journey, bro.
Yeah.
And I like to explain it to people because people don't actually know what I had to go through to actually lose weight while running a business all by myself. So I was a solopreneur back then and I was doing the Amazon FBA business. I was also running a coaching business alongside it.
So was this, I'm just trying to do it chronologically speaking.
Yeah.
Was this like after, so 17 brokers, then after you, I'm assuming you left the brokers, or did...
COVID came around.
COVID came round.
Yeah.
Okay, so COVID came round.
So luckily during COVID,
Yeah.
I managed to get a job at Holland & Barrett.
Okay.
And I was working at Holland & Barrett for a little bit. But while I was at Holland & Barrett, I was building... I was trying to get into businesses. So what most people don't know is I started Amazon FBA and failed for like 8 months straight.
Okay.
That was when I was at Holland & Barrett.
Were you with your girlfriend at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think she was... I can't remember exactly, but she was most likely working that other job that I was telling you about.
Right.
Or she was at university. Bro, my memory is a bit foggy right now, but one of the two anyway. But that's when I was sort of getting into business. And Amazon FBA wasn't working, but I was able to keep myself afloat with the Holland & Barrett job. Then I came across the strategy that did work on Amazon FBA because it worked for the first time. And my mindset is if something can work once, it can work 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is I like to give my all into anything I do. So I like to sort of give undivided focus. So if I was at Holland & Barrett, 8 hours a day, I wouldn't be able to focus on the Amazon FBA business, especially because the way I was running the business is I'd have to be working 9 to 5, right? I have to be in touch with wholesalers and so on and so forth. So it just wouldn't work out. So I quit the job. And then that's when my girlfriend is keeping me afloat. And then, going to Amazon FBA, that was 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So 2019 was when I started, which was when I was failing. 2020 is when it started working.
Okay, 2020, that was COVID. That's when COVID just started to come around, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it started to work in 2020.
Yeah. 2020 was when it started to work because I came across that wholesaling strategy. And
was this the $900 bit?
Yes, when I had, so the first strategy I was trying was private label, which I don't touch the products physically.
Right, okay.
Because they go straight from the warehouse in China to the Amazon FBA warehouse.
Got you, okay.
When I was packing boxes in the garage, that's when I was doing a wholesale strategy and that's when it was working out.
So you're trying to do, so is that white labeling, essentially, that private labeling?
Private labeling is not necessarily, it's kind of white label, yeah. You're white labeling unbranded products from like AliExpress, Alibaba, and so on and so forth.
And putting your brand on it.
Yeah.
But then when you're wholesaling, you have to buy all of the products
you
yourself.
buy branded products. So you buy like Lego or Colgate toothpaste or Kleenex.
And you become the seller of that on Amazon.
On Amazon, yeah.
I see. Okay. And then that is what you changed in your strategy, and you invested your last $900 into that.
Yeah, £900.
£900. Because I saw dollars on the thing. I was like, I understand. So like £900
Yeah.
into that. And then that was when your girlfriend was funding it.
Yeah.
What happened after that, bro?
It just started to pick up from there, bro. Like it was, again, with the Amazon FBA, it's a very slow journey. So profit margins, most people don't know, again, people online that sell Amazon FBA courses and coaching programs. And obviously I was one of them, right? Like we don't sort of give you the full picture where it's like you're only making 15 to 25% profit margins.
Wow.
You get what I mean? So you're making 10K in sales, let's say.
Yeah.
But you're only making 1.5 to 2.5K profit per month, which is all right for someone who was like 18 at the time, 17 at the time. You know, when most people, in order for them to make 1.5 to 2.5K per month, they'd have to work a full-time job, right? I was quote unquote my own boss, which a lot of people want. And that's where the coaching business started from as well, because people were seeing that and they were like, oh, bro, how do you do this? I want to get into it, so on and so forth.
Okay. So it started naturally. It's like a natural progression.
Yeah, it was a natural thing. Because I used to document it on Snapchat. Snapchat was my platform.
Yes, I remember you was on Snapchat. You know, Zach as well. Like Isaac, he was on Snapchat as well. I was speaking to him the other day. Austin, Bezos, all them. Like, I remember that. Crazy. And similar thing with me, like what I've seen for myself also is through documenting the process with my podcasting stuff. So I run a podcasting program now, but I never did before. Yeah. Like now is a thing where I run a podcast agency and then people are like, okay, well, how do I start a podcast? How do I run a podcast? How do I leverage a podcast? How do I actually make it work for me? Teach me. I said, all right, cool. Well, let me make a program. Let me actually start coaching people one-to-one and in groups and such. And it started to work. And I did my first testimonials. Like I finished my first cohort like literally 2 days ago, which is amazing.
Sick, bro. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, man. And like the types of things that people were saying was like, okay, so this is really, really why I'm doing it. Because people told me in the first place, right? Yeah, this is really going to be helpful. But now they've been through it. It's like, this has been so helpful, bro. Like, thank you so much. I've got exactly what I needed to get started. I've got this person on. I've been able to leverage my podcast in this way. It's gone amazingly, bro. So how did things bloom after that, after you started the coaching?
Yeah, so similar thing to me. When I first started getting people results, they started to see it, started to showcase them and so on and so forth. And even till this day, like there's people that are quite well known on socials that are also teaching Amazon FBA. And I was the one who taught them Amazon FBA. I've even got people who I taught Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
And then they also wanted to start teaching people, so I taught them how to teach people as well. Because then obviously I transitioned to the coaching.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the main principles for me was it's build a good reputation around whatever you do so that people can consistently come back to you, whatever it is you provide. And I think that's where I've succeeded in, where people trust me regardless of what venture I'm in.
Yes.
So like I have people who were in my Amazon FBA program and learned Amazon FBA from me, whether they paid me or not. But they trust me so much from what I taught them back then that they'd buy anything from me in the future because they know I'll pull through every single time.
That is so, and I've seen this with you as well, with your community. You have one on Telegram, right?
I've got 2 on Telegram. I've got a paid one, free one.
Okay, the free one.
Yeah.
It's like what, 7,000 people in there?
7,500.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, something like that.
7,500 people in it. And I'm assuming these people have seen you for all your different transitions. And like, or not even transitions, your progressions on your journey.
Some of them. Some of them.
A lot of the people have seen you on your journey, and then you've built that trust through building that community, which I find amazing, bro. Yeah. And I'm seeing the value in building a community now and like having them in one central place.
100%.
But then talk to me. After that, after the coaching and such, like through Amazon FBA, where did we go after that?
So with coaching, it was making me more money than Amazon FBA was. Right?
Okay. That happens.
And I say this transparently, like a lot of people are scared to say it and whatnot, but me, I can admit it. Like not only was it making me more money, in fact, it wasn't making me more revenue, but it was making me more profit.
Right.
Because profit margins, when it comes to like selling courses, coaching business, having coaching business and community, you're looking at 80 to 90% profit margin, especially if you're a solopreneur, which I was back at the time. And like, I would have to probably make like, let's just see, I don't know the maths. You could basically make half of what you'd make with Amazon FBA and still make more money, basically. And I saw this and I was like, yeah, I need to get into this. Plus, there's no overheads, there's no upfront costs, and so on and so forth. Obviously, it's like subscriptions and here and there and whatnot. With Amazon FBA, you need to buy the products up front. Yeah. With coaching, you don't need to buy anything.
You're changing people's lives.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. You're working with people, you're speaking to people. Amazon FBA can get lonely, very lonely, in fact, because you're just packing boxes and you're not really dealing with anyone. Amazon FBA, Amazon deals with the customers for you. Yeah. All you're doing is dealing with annoying wholesalers that don't want to sell you products sometimes and so on and so forth, or are out of stock, or they hate you. And most wholesalers and liquidators hate Amazon FBA sellers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you're buying stuff from them, but they still hate you.
Yeah, they dislike you, bro.
But okay,
you have to hide what you're doing from them.
Let's go there, because you said lonely. Yeah, I understand loneliness is a big part of this journey, bro. Because, bro, I can relate, bro.
100%.
It feels like you're alone sometimes.
100%.
Like you're going through this stuff by yourself. Even if you do have people around you who love you, who support you, like, for example, your girlfriend, for example, me, my friends, my family. But it feels like you're the only person who knows what's really going on. Like, how did you handle that?
Well, luckily, my wife now, I had her throughout the whole journey. I think that's sort of what I'm grateful for. Most people don't have that sort of company throughout their journey. A lot of people are lonely, so I can't say I understand what it's like to be completely lonely. when I was working like as a broker and whatnot, yes, I felt lonely, but I can't really relate it to business. But in terms of like friendships, yeah, like I can definitely say even till this day, I can probably count my friends on one hand.
Wow.
100%. Like, and I'm talking like good, close friends. Everyone else is sort of like an acquaintance or business partner or whatever it may be. But like close friends, it's very, very hard to find, bro. And I'm sure you understand it as well. There's only a few that are actually on the same pathway as you to the goal you want to actually achieve. And yeah, like, luckily for me, I was surrounded by the wrong people back when I was like 16, 17 and so on and so forth. And
Question, sorry, had to jump in there. 16 to 17, you were surrounded by the wrong people. Do you think that's part of what led you to getting kicked out of school?
no,
Why not?
because the fight I
It just
wouldn't blame
happened.
them for the fight. Yeah. The fight just happened. As I said, like, I don't usually get into fights, whether it's friends or not. Like,
Oh, so you were just vexed for some reason.
like, I was just, I was just angry at the guy. I'm not gonna point finger. Another thing, I don't like pointing fingers at
I
anyone else
see.
but
Take
myself. Do you know what I mean?
responsibility on yourself.
100%.
Has
I
that
don't
helped you
blame
on your
them.
journey?
Say that again, sorry.
Has that helped you on your journey?
100%. 100%.
Why'd you say it like that?
100%. Like, bro, you have to point fingers. One thing that I think I've done that sort of led me to where I am today is put everything in my control. Like, I control everything. Like, I'm talking whatever happens in my day-to-day, I take control over it. Whatever happens at home, I take control. Every single thing I take control. Like, no one can... my parents can't tell me what to do. My wife can't tell me what to do. No one can tell me what to do. And that might be... I don't know if that's being arrogant or whatever the word may be, but in a good way. Obviously, I can learn from people and I listen to what other people tell me what to do if it sort of benefits me or I see that they've done it for themselves. But in terms of control and every failure and every excuse and everything that's done is by me. I won't let anyone dictate sort of the pathway that I go down.
I love that, bro. One thing I like to say is it may not be my fault, but it's my responsibility. Like,
100%.
I have to take responsibility for it.
Yeah,
I take
100%,
responsibility for whatever happens in my life. And
100%.
we also understand that there are things that we simply cannot control.
100%.
Like, we can't control the weather, we can't control the parking light.
100%.
But then this is the thing, you can only control what you can control, which is you.
Yeah.
Which is why I always tell people, like, your schedule. What does your schedule look like? Because you can control your time. You know what responsibilities you have. You know what you need to do. Control your time, but like actually fix it up in your schedule. Like, is that something that you do as well? Like, do you operate by a schedule or do your days just kind of like flow? Look, I've changed my whole life through podcasting. I used to not have a network. I didn't have a business before. I used to work the job that I didn't necessarily like. People didn't know me as a speaker. I didn't have a personal brand, but my whole life has changed ever since we grew our first podcast, which was a top 5% most shared. We got millions of social impressions online and people coming up to me in public asking me, are you this person? I said, yes, I am. And it all came through a podcast. Now, if you want to do something similar and build your own podcast, then click on the link down below to book a call with myself or my team, and we can speak about getting you started with your own podcast. Whether you want us to handle it for you or you want me to teach you how to do it, we can do it both ways. Speak to you soon.
Funny enough, I don't have a strict schedule.
Yeah.
I've got one that sort of, it's created itself. So for example, maybe like, I know exactly what time I need to wake up every single day. I know exactly what I'm going to do in the mornings and so on and so forth. And then I know by the evening what I'm doing as well. And then everything sort of just fits in. So for example, like, you know, for this pod, for example, it wasn't like, oh, bro, I've only got availability this time. I was like to you, bro, I'd rather not have it in the evening. I'd rather have it early in the day. Let me know a time and I'll let you know if I'm available. That's it. So I wouldn't really say I've got a strict schedule, but it sort of works out itself. And again, I'm not here to say you don't need a schedule or you need a schedule. What I'm here to say is do what works for you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And I want to add to what we were talking about earlier, accountability and responsibility. What a lot of people tend to do is they tend to rely on others and blame others because they relied on them. So for example, let's say you were to tell me to do X, Y, Z and it doesn't go so well. I'm not going to point fingers at you. I'm going to point fingers at me for putting my trust in you.
That's it.
And most people don't see it like that. Most people see it as, oh, you told me to do this. It didn't work. It's your fault. But it's like, a couple of things. One, I put my trust in you, which I shouldn't have in the first place. And nothing against you, by the way. But two is, why didn't I read in between the lines? Why didn't I look more into it? And so on and so forth. Everything can turn back to you. Because at the end of the day, bro, I don't know, 5 years' time, I might not know you anymore. 5 years' time, I'm going to be the person living the life that I live. So I need to be in complete control of it for me to live the life that I want to live.
And that's the same way I look at coaching as well. So even coaches that I've been with, well, I say coaching, but even programs and stuff like courses and that. I remember there was this course that I spent, we're going to get into this soon as well. There's this 100%. Course that I spent 12.5 grand on. I'll tell you now, the most that I got from that course or that program were the connections and how this guy got me to spend that much money getting into his program. Bro. I'm like, what is going on here? Because I was like, I'm paying for this course now. I'm like, First of all, I got into the sales call and I was sold. Like this guy was just talking to me. I already knew. I'm just trying to sign up and pay.
Yeah.
But he's talking to me, trying to like see, oh, he's da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I'm ready to go right now. I was like, how did he get me to that position?
Yeah.
Now I've taken his process that he used to like get me into his program, but now I'm doing it for myself.
I like that.
To get people into my program, bro, and add value to them that way.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of people don't do, and what I like about what you just did, is people are very black and white when it comes to sort of decisions, liking someone, not liking someone, so on and so forth, taking something from someone. Whereas what you did is you acknowledge that, okay, this program might not be for me in terms of what it actually provides, but what can I take from it that might actually help me? And most people don't do that. Most people, when they invest into programs, courses, coaching businesses, communities, all they want to do is see if everything works. And if everything collectively doesn't work, they just throw it in a bin and just like, okay, I'm on to the next one, on to the next shiny object. Whereas what I do, what you do, what other business owners that are actually smart do is they'll see, okay, cool, maybe my goals don't align or my strategy doesn't align with what this person has taught me. But what is there that I can actually learn from this program, from this course,
That's it.
that I can implement into my life, my business, or whatever it may be? Even the smallest thing, bro. Like, I've hopped into programs where I was meant to learn a particular strategy for my business.
Right.
And I walked away with a mindset shift. That's about it. And similar to you, like, I've invested crazy amounts into programs as well, bro. So I feel you. But
What we talking?
like, let's see. The most I've invested, not even that much. Most I've invested into a program is 15 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, 15
And
grand.
was that like for a couple months or was it like a mastermind?
Okay, so what it was for? It was like it was just like it was a 2-month consultancy for and bi-weekly calls. So it wasn't even that much for 15 grand. But with what I was getting was worth the 15 grand. But then again, it didn't turn out as I expected it to turn out. But that's my fault. But not only that, is I took something from it that has helped me massively.
Wow.
So the 15 grand was well spent.
Yeah.
Because what I took from it was valuable, but what I was promised from it wasn't what I got.
Interesting. I get that a lot as well.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. Even when I go into programs, for example, that 12.5 grand one, I was like, okay, so from this, I didn't get exactly what I thought I was going to get. But from this, I learned how to actually hire people within my business. I also got great connections like that connected me to even more amazing people as well. And number 3, I've got another method of generating clients and getting more interest for what it is that I do. But I've got a question for you. What did you learn from that 15 grand program? Like, what is the thing that if you are open to say, that thing that you were saying, okay, that is something that really changed things for me. This is 15 grand worth of value, people. All right, listen.
It's not even going to be valuable, bro. It was a CRM. Like it was a custom built CRM spreadsheet on Google Sheets.
If you don't know what a CRM is, look it up and basically get one. You can use Go High Level. You can use, do you know any other? HubSpot as well. There's many different CRM systems. You can
Google
just look
Sheets.
it up. Google Sheets is free. It's free.
I'm telling you, Google Sheets. If you're not making like, I don't know, $250,000 a month, you don't need anything else other than Google Sheets.
Wait, sorry, say that one more time. Say it into the camera.
Like, if you're not making over $250,000 a month, you don't need anything more than Google Sheets.
Why?
100%. Because Google Sheets gives you everything. Well, like most people try to overcomplicate. I need this, I need that, I need that. But again, it's just excuses at the end of the day. Really and truly, when it comes to metrics, you just need to see, you need to cut all the clutter, especially as a business owner. You just need to see what's working and what's not. Whether that's in KPI format, whether that's in percentage format, whatever it may be, you just need to see the metrics. And whether it's automated or whether it's not, it doesn't really matter, right? What you're going to pay for Go High Level, I don't even know how much Go High Level costs because I don't use it.
About like I use it. It's like 75 a month. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. You add a bit more to that. You can get yourself a VA from Philippines, for example.
Yeah.
And she does
does the whole thing for you.
Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. It's a good point.
But yeah, I use Google Sheets, bro.
But I don't think you understand the key that.
In fact, let me change that. No $250,000 because I still use Google Sheets.
Okay.
I'll say half a mil, half a mil,
right?
Yeah.
So you heard it.
A month.
The CRM, a month, right? So I'm not even doing the calculation.
I wouldn't advise it though, by the way.
What?
Like using Google Sheets up to $500,000, even up to $250,000 is a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about $500,000. I know up to $250,000 a month.
Come on.
But
yeah.
I don't even want to say that. But yeah.
But please take in what Nabil's saying is like, it can be easy. Sorry, not can be easy. It can be, I'm going to get into that as well. It can be simple. Like just keep it simple and keep it stepping. With a CRM system, a CRM is a key, because Nabil said it's not that deep, but it is. Or it's not that big. It's not that big of a mindset shift, but it is. Please take that in. If you do not have a CRM system, go and have a look on YouTube. We're not going to go into the how-tos of it. go and have a look on YouTube on how to actually apply that within your business. If you are in a service-based business, that's what I'd recommend. And not even necessarily service. You could do it in like a product-based business as well. Because if you have, for example, an email list, it helps you to build your email list, and you have information on your clients. It basically just puts all of your customers' information in one place, right? And that is extremely, extremely beneficial. Anywho,
Let me add to that as well.
go for it.
So, as much as the CRM is very important, as you said, yeah, what people need to focus on, especially for the first 100 grand a month, 50 grand a month,
Right.
10 grand a month,
Right.
is income producing activities.
Talk to me.
And that's what most people don't focus on. So, for example, people are going to be watching this and thinking, some people might be watching this and not even making, I don't know, 20K a month or 10K a month. And they're like, oh, I need a CRM. But is majority of what you're doing an income producing activity? If it's not, forget the CRM.
What does that mean? What's an income producing activity?
I mean, anything to get more cash in the bank, anything to
Okay.
get more clients, anything to get more sales, that's what you need to be focusing on. If you're focusing on more of the tedious tasks, like, I don't know, building a CRM, doing this, doing that, it doesn't put more money in your bank. You know what I mean? Cash flow gives you leverage.
Yeah.
So your main focus should be getting more cash into the business, and then you can start building out these CRMs, and most importantly, hiring people. Like you saw, but I don't even know the term CRM. I just use the term CRM because I know what it is. I don't even know what it stands for.
But you got someone to do it for you.
Exactly. I've got an operations manager that does all of that for me.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And I don't even know obviously I know what metrics are tracked, like follow-up rate, conversion rate, booking rate, so on and so forth. But that's all I see. He sees everything on the back end, right? He tracks everything. He tracks all calls booked. He tracks all outreaches. He tracks all inbound leads and so on and so forth.
Through Google Sheets.
Yeah, through
Mad.
Google Sheets, completely through Google Sheets. And I love Google Sheets, but maybe I love it because I don't actually have to use it. He does everything. I look at the dashboard and that's it. But like I'm telling you from experience, like, yeah. But income producing activity is what you need to focus on.
IPAs. So IPAs, IPAs.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, bro. That's another gem as well, by the way,
Yeah,
in case you didn't know. Do you know what I mean? But back to it. So if we get back on track, we were talking about Amazon FBA and where you're going through there, and then also coaching, and then how you expanded through coaching. Let's get back on track with the coaching. What happened after that?
Yeah, so end of 2022 is when I officially said, you know what, I'm not doing Amazon FBA anymore. It doesn't make sense. And it was a very hard decision because Amazon FBA for me was, it was my baby, innit? Like it was the first thing that got me to make, hit my first milestones, let's just say. My first good amount of money every single month, every single year, so on and so forth.
As in more than you'd ever made before that?
Yeah. And it was the business it was the only business that really made sense to me because it was like, I understood everything about it, right? I literally learned every single thing there could be about it. But as most people know, if they do Amazon FBA, Amazon can be annoying and it can put you off it. And obviously, as I said, the profit margins. So what I decided to do is because I was making more money from coaching than I was on Amazon FBA, I was like, you know what? Why not help people start their own coaching businesses, courses, communities? Because that way I can still do coaching and make the same amount of money that I was making, but not have to focus on Amazon. Because if I stopped doing Amazon but still coached it, I wouldn't be able to keep up with the market. And people would label me as a scammer, so on and so forth. And again, it'd affect my reputation.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So yeah, that's when I sort of transitioned and I was like, you know what? I'm helping people start their own coaching businesses, courses, communities. And ever since, it's been sick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you transitioned into coaching full time.
Yeah.
Helping people with their businesses. So not just Amazon FBA, but their business as a whole.
Yeah. So anyone that can provide an online service-based business has to be primarily online.
Okay.
Ideally, an info-based product. So I don't really like to work with agencies or anything like that just because I don't understand the business model as much as I want to.
Okay.
But if it comes to selling info, so for example, whether that's building a coaching program, a course, a community, I'm all for it.
I love that. And as you can see, I'm going to probably be speaking to you at some point as well. I've got
100%.
my program loading as well.
Yeah.
Cohort 2 is coming in January. This will probably be out after Cohort 2, so maybe you can join Cohort 3 if there's space. But one thing I've seen from you, another thing I've seen from you is content. You do a lot of content. And I say a lot of content. What I mean by content is stuff inside of your Telegram group and your other community, I'm assuming as well, with your meme coins and such. And also your Instagram. Instagram, not as much, maybe your story and such, but YouTube. I've seen it pretty active on YouTube. Like, what part has content had to play in your whole story and in your whole, like, I guess, success?
I'd say it played a very, very big part in my success, but not as I expected it to.
Go on.
But I think it's the way I went about it is what sort of led to the success I've had. So as I said, I've always sort of been transparent. I've been straight to the point. I don't like to beat around the bush or anything like that. and I care about my reputation. So if you go on my Instagram, for example, you'll see, well, now I've got like 14K followers, which to some people is a lot of followers. But as you said, like, I'm not really too active on Instagram. I'm starting to be right now. But Snapchat, for example, when I was, I closed over like 350 clients over the course of a year and a half for Amazon FBA. And
Sorry, it's where?
What do you mean?
As on what platform?
Snapchat alone.
Said it, run it back. So you close, say that one more
350 clients for my info product based business when I was teaching Amazon FBA. So that's a mix of course and coaching.
On Snapchat?
On Snapchat alone. And I had between 1 to 2K views. So that's like a 20% conversion rate of all my views.
That is wild, bro.
Yeah, if someone understands like how much it takes to actually convert your audience, that is a big number.
But not just audience. Like, I'm not sure if you're deep in it or I'm deep in it. That's a lot of that. That is mad on that platform. Because I only to me anyway, because I've only ever used Snapchat to just check what people who used to go to my school are doing. That's it. And it's not even interesting. I'll just go in there and they talk about them going to the shops. What's that going to do for me? And then I scroll down and I'm on the explore page and I'm not even trying to explore, but Snapchat's just trying to push that in my face. But then you're telling me you use that as a conversion machine.
Yeah. But you know why it works so well? Because everyone else is focusing on selling on every other platform except for Snapchat. So people are selling on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, right? Not so much on Twitter, hence why I've tapped into it now. But like it's like a herd of sheep. Everyone's going onto these platforms because they see it works for other people, which I don't blame them, right? I always follow what other people do if it's working for them. But it can also work on platforms such as Snapchat, right? I've heard people selling on flipping Reddit, bro. Do you get what I mean? But like,
people are selling on Reddit.
Yeah, 100%. I think Reddit introduced ads as well recently.
I'm not surprised.
So, yeah. Might have to tap into that soon. But
that soon.
Like Snapchat is a very good platform, bro. Because as you said, like, especially because people go onto Snapchat to relate to people, right? You're relating to people who used to go to your school.
Yeah.
Because you find them relatable, right? They're people who went who you knew years ago, so on and so forth. So you automatically feel a sense of trust with someone that you have on Snap, whereas someone you might have on Instagram or TikTok, they're just seen as another person somewhere in the world.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? And things with Snapchat is if you go about growing it the right way, you can create your own sort of cult or community or circle, because Snapchat isn't a platform like Instagram where you can go onto the search bar and put fitness coach.
Yeah.
Or TikTok fitness coach.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Snapchat, if I'm a fitness coach, I might be the only fitness coach you have, and I might be the only fitness coach you have for a while, because you can't just go out there and find a fitness coach by searching it into the search tab. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why it works.
Exactly what you mean, bro. And if you're watching this, you're definitely watching this if you're listening to this, but please, just because Nabil said Snapchat was the thing, it was the thing. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it won't work for you now. But I want you to understand how much time Nabil has put into this. Because one thing we were speaking about earlier was that it's not easy. How much time would you say that you put into Snapchat to grow this audience?
A lot of time. But you have to, you know what it is with content? You have to get into a routine, because even now, till this day, I find content hard to keep up with sometimes. And what most people know when it comes to posting content is it's a never-ending thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like obviously with platforms like YouTube, maybe TikTok, Instagram, you can put a reel out there or a TikTok video or YouTube video, and it will keep showing itself to the right people each and every single time, which is why it's valuable to start posting content. With something like Snapchat, you need to post daily.
Yeah, 24
because
hours.
Because it deletes after 24 hours. And I don't advise people to turn on that 7-day thing, because no one wants to tap through a story that's got like 100 snaps, right? Yeah. You want to look for a nice ballpark figure of like 3 to 7, for example, posts a day, and I'll keep people engaged, and it'll keep you top of mind, so that whenever someone is looking to start Amazon FBA, for example, they know who to go to, because you're always top of mind. Do you know what I mean?
I do get what you mean, bro. And we're speaking about content. I've also seen content from you which is talking about what you're into right now, which is meme coins, which is, like trading, like the crypto side of things. So talk to me a bit about that, because I'm assuming that came after, I guess alongside the coaching stuff that you were doing.
So throughout 2023, I was purely focused on the coaching business, and I'm an advocate for focus on one thing and one thing only. Don't spread your focus too thin.
Okay.
Just because, again, it gives you less power over what you're currently doing. If you can put 100% focus, energy and effort into one thing, that's where you can see like crazy potential. If you split it into two, you're only giving 50% energy, effort into each one. And again, that's where most people fail.
Oh, and quick question on that, because I'm doing my podcast agency and I'm also doing the program, but they are still in the same niche.
I'll tell you why it works out in your favor.
Talk to me.
Same way it worked out for me in my favor when I was doing Amazon FBA and also coaching Amazon FBA, because you can learn from that second business venture. So for example, by you teaching others, and they say by you teaching the thing that you're trying to learn, it makes you better at it as well, or it teaches you more about it. Because what will tend to happen is you'll have clients, for example, and I'm sure you've experienced this, where they face issues that you might not have acknowledged before. You might not have noticed it's an issue, and it taught you something that you never knew. You know what I mean? So if it's in the same field, that's completely fine, as long as it sort of feeds into the main business.
So like a flywheel. So everything works together and it goes faster when you gain momentum.
Which leads me on to why I transitioned into the crypto space. So
perfect.
Beginning of 2024, I came across this guy who was into meme coins. And a bit of a backstory. Back in 2021, the NFT season was popping.
I remember,
And I was into that, and I made a good amount of money.
Nice.
Didn't make as much as I wanted to make because I didn't have enough leverage, aka I didn't have enough capital. And so when this one came around, I was like, you have to get into this, 100%. It was a distraction, but I was like, you know what? My business is doing well. Why not? Let me tap into it. But I'll tell you why it made sense for me.
Oh, sorry. So you said as this one came around, you mean meme coins?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So early this year, January, I saw this guy started a meme coin group, and he was charging around 2.5, 3K USD.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, let me join it. Let me see what it's about, so on and so forth. Joined it. It was on like...
Wait, sorry. You just joined it to see what it's about?
Yeah. I just joined it to see what it's about.
Cool.
And he had about 40 members in there.
Yeah.
And I know he started this recently. Like, he started it like a week ago or something because I was keeping up with his stories.
Okay.
And then within another week, he was on 70 members. And I was like, hold on, this guy is charging 3K. And he closed 70 clients in 2 weeks, 210K.
Mad. But
that wasn't the sort of pinpoint I was focused on. I was like, this group isn't even good. This group was like it was horrible.
Wow.
Like, in terms of the service, in terms of him, the person himself, everything was bad about it. And obviously, my expertise was building communities, coaching programs,
of course.
So I knew how to do this stuff
properly.
And not only that, I knew how to sort of. I understood the crypto market because I was in it back in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Why not start my own community? Not only because it can make me money, but it will feed into my main business, which is building people communities, because I'll be able to show people what I can actually do.
Nice.
So I thought of the idea. 3 days later, I started it. And then within 2 weeks, we grew to 170 members.
What?
All paying £250 a month.
What?
Yeah, so you could do the maths on that. But
I can do the maths. I didn't do them now. I'll do it afterwards.
$250. $250 a month.
Hey, it's still a decent amount.
Yeah,
of money.
yeah.
But where did these people come from? Because they didn't magically appear. Was it Snapchat? Was it Instagram? Like, where did these people come from?
See, this is where that good reputation comes into place. I always had a good reputation. People trust me whenever it comes to making money online in whatever shape or form. So whether it's the people that didn't buy from Amazon FBA course and wanted to buy something from me in future because they didn't have access to the coaching program. Obviously, my coaching program is high ticket, so for a lot of people, it's not affordable. But people trusted me when it comes to making money. So as soon as I brought the opportunity to the table, people were like, oh, yeah, let me look into it. Let me get in, so on and so forth. 150 people within 2 weeks. And that stayed consistent. We're now in December. Yeah, December. That's sort of, it stayed within the 100 to 160 mark ever since.
And I'm assuming that it will probably fluctuate depending on the crypto market.
Yeah. So for example, August was a horrible month. That's when we dropped down to like almost like 100 members.
Wow, okay.
And now we're picking back up. Yeah, and now we're charging like 400.
Nice.
I don't know. We charge in Solana, so price changes.
Interesting.
But we're charging like $450 a month.
That's good though. No gas fees, right?
Yeah, very low gas fees. But plus the meme coin market is primarily on Solana anyway.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because previously, I remember in the bull run that I took part in, Ethereum. Well, I'm in this one as well, right? But then Ethereum, when Ethereum was doing its thing and everything, it's been doing its thing. But I remember there was a lot of things being built on the Ethereum network and such. I mean, I think there were things being built on the Solana network, but they were more so the NFTs and everything like that. But then now all the meme coins are being built on Solana, on the Solana blockchain.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to get into blockchains and all that kind of stuff because I'm interested in crypto too. But where did you see the opportunity there? Like, or did you start to see even more opportunity after that? After you, like, you know, because as you said, you're starting to build the community. Now you're seeing more things and you're learning even more. Like, what happened after it?
You know what it is? My plan was, my whole plan, as I said, I wanted to link it to my main business, which is helping people start coaching businesses communities. So my plan was to show people, oh, look, I just started a community within 2 weeks and I made this amount of money. I know what I'm talking about. And it didn't end up anything like that. In fact, it turned out way better because now I'm fully into the crypto market. Still run the coaching business on the back end. I just don't publicize it.
Yeah.
But that was the plan. Like you can even go onto so I've got 2 YouTube channels, a crypto one and another one to do with like coaching. You'll see I documented that on YouTube when I did it.
Okay.
So I showed people the proof. I was like, listen, look, this
Amazing.
is how much I've made.
Yeah.
This is the amount of people I've closed and so on and so forth.
Nice.
But then crypto just took over.
Now that you've done this, now that you created this group, and now that you've got all these people in this group and such, like, what does life look like for you?
In what sense?
Like, what does life look like for you? Like, so how has life changed?
So definitely a lot more opportunities have come to the table.
does that
Once, like as in like partnerships,
Okay.
you know, people seeing that I'm valuable in this. Like I've never, obviously you mentioned content earlier. I've always posted content, but I've always had that sort of small audience in my personal opinion. Like my audience recently grew substantially. It's not even substantial. Like 7.5k members on Telegram is decent, but that's decent for people like us where you know, you look at people like Andrew Tate or Luke Bellman and so on and so forth. They got hundreds of thousands, millions of people looking
That's
at
like
them.
a cult following.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like even my appointment setters and my sales team, they see like for such a small audience, I have a lot of engagement. Like I have a lot of people that trust me and a lot of people that engage with me. Like for example, a lot of people that have an audience of like, I don't know, let's say 2,000, only about 100 to 200 people actually listen to them and actually pay attention to what they're saying. For me, I've got like a high percentage of people that pay attention to me. And yeah, partnerships, people offering me stuff. I haven't taken them up on them because a lot of the time it doesn't benefit my people more than it benefits them. Like I want to benefit the people that I serve. So people in my community, clients, even people in my free community, everything I do is for them. All I want out of it is to make my money on the side.
Yeah.
So for example, that's why I start communities, because everything I give to them is not only to help them make a lot of money, but it's also so I can obviously make money on the side, and it's a win-win for both people. Whereas when someone approaches me and they're like, bro, can you promote this crypto coin? Me and you can make a lot of money. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like, first thing I'll say is bro, as long as it makes my community money, then I'm willing to listen. If it doesn't, then I'm not listening.
That's good.
I don't really care. I'd rather make money off of keeping my community afloat, having them trust me and so on and so forth, than make a quick, 20, 30, 50x off a coin.
And how do people get involved in this? Like, how do people get involved in your groups? Like, I could put the links in the description below.
Yeah, 100%. I don't usually accept people in like we release spots.
Okay.
Well, if someone goes through the link, I'll obviously let them in. But
Well, you heard that.
Yeah.
you heard it here first. And if there's somewhere for them to put, where they came from, then of course do that. Please say where you came from. Say you came from the Vitamin U podcast, and of course you're gonna go over to one of the groups. And then of course they can find out some more information about your YouTube channels and everything in the description.
Yeah, for
below
sure.
too.
They can go into my YouTube channel. In fact, like one thing that I've done differently with this particular business is on my YouTube, I've given everything away. So like, even if someone doesn't want to join my community, they're going to find benefit in the community because a lot of people don't have time. A lot of people don't understand the market as well as they thought they would. So they want to join the community to get calls and not have to rely on their own knowledge and so on and so forth. But if someone wants to actually go out there and learn for themselves, just go on my YouTube channel. I literally give everything away. Like everything I do away, just go.
I've heard you say community like 10,000 times today. Yeah. For the people that are listening, what would you say is like your top tip for building a community, for example? Because I need this too. Hey, listen, this podcast isn't just for you, it's for me too. Right? Don't get it twisted. Okay, I want to build a community too. So what would you say is like your number one thing to think about? Or even if it's a couple of things when it comes to building a community, what should people be doing?
So product matters, right?
Okay.
No one's going to want to engage or stay in the community if the results you're bringing them don't make sense, right? It's not worth their time, not worth what they've paid for, so on and so forth. So results 100% have to be the pinnacle, right? It has to be the main focus. And then the people that are in it, whether that's you, the owner, or whether that's the people that actually join. So you need to make sure you vet the people that come in, make sure you've got solid expectations for everyone that joins the community. No disrespecting, no talking, rubbish to this person and so on and so forth. Set the expectations so everyone's on the same page. And you also have clear values and clear goals for everyone that joins as well. Because everyone there is in the same mission. You get what I mean? But what you tend to see is a lot of people that join this community, it's the first community that they've ever joined. So they tend to still be in that lone wolf mindset where they feel like they're alone in this. They don't want to engage with other people. They don't trust other people yet, and so on and so forth. And as you know, coming from like a place like London, UK, everyone tends to keep to themselves. I used to be that person. When you join a community, you need to encourage people engaging with each other, helping each other, and so on and so forth.
I mean, now that you're speaking about community, there must have been some dark periods of that as well. Because we've spoken about other journeys that you've been on, but sounds like the consistent one that's been throughout this whole process. Was there any like low points that you would say, or like not even low points, but like really difficult points? Because you said it's not easy.
Mm-hmm. So this year in particular, I think because I've got everything set in stone. Like I know what I'm doing. It was sort of like quote unquote easy. It wasn't easy, but I knew everything I needed to do, and it was just a system that I had to sort of implement for my last business, right? But what was difficult for me was my last business. So Amazon FBA, coaching, and so on and so forth. What most people don't know is when I posted that post on Instagram that you brought up to me earlier, where I was talking about the $900, I made it out to seem like, oh yeah, I'm in a great spot right now. I'm in a great place. What people didn't know is I used to sleep in the office, right? I used to rent an office for like £300 a month. And I used to sleep there, right? I had a couch, and my friends will know this. I used to sleep there, not for the reason that I was quote unquote homeless. Yeah, you could say I was homeless because I used to still live with my parents, but it was determination to get out of where I currently was.
That's how hard you're working.
How I was doing that was literally sleep in the office, and I'd sleep at 5 a.m., wake up 12 p.m., noon, work from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., and then I'd go gym at literally 1 a.m.
You're still going
I'm taking
gym?
pre-workout at 1 a.m.
What?
Pre-workout 1 a.m., gym and I got pictures of all of this, bro. And people can go on my Insta and see how fat I was, bro. And that's where the motivation came from, because I was doing gym, 1 a.m. to like 3 a.m., 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., something like that. And then go to sleep at 5 a.m. And that was just routine. The reason why I didn't want to sleep at home is for me to shower, for me to leave the house. Office is like 45 minutes away. That's already 3 hours out of my day.
Yeah.
And that's the determination I needed to get out of the place I was at. It was insane.
I think we're probably going to have to do a part 2, bro.
Yeah,
We're probably going to have to do a part 2, bro. When I come back to Dubai, we're going to have to do a part 2. Or if you come back to London, of course, give me a shout, and then we'll do it there. But what a way to end it. Goodness gracious. But people, listen. Nabil, I want to say thank you very much for coming on, brother.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Listen, it has been a movie. It has been amazing. If you liked what you heard, please leave a comment. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel and go follow Nabil, man. Go follow his Instagram, YouTube. Check out his group as well. All the links will be in the description below, right? And then without further ado, bless you and watch Vitamin U, all right? Peace and love, people. Goodbye.